give me a hug. I'm wearing the minister's style. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Again, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, energy. I love energy. Good morning. I love Norm.
Thank you.
Every time Norm plays music, I get to tap my feet, and there's like a little jig thing going on, and I feel like a little girl. It's very light music that touches my soul. I love when you come and play with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we got a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on in our world, and there's a lot of activity and energy. And I want to say, first thing, I love when Spirit connects, because this morning my post on Facebook, my hashtag is treat and meet your feet. And then Norm gets up and says, treat and move your feet. And I'm like, yes, because I was posting today about prayer. And, you know, we're all praying for the people that are in the path of all of this, you know, natural catastrophe that's going on, right? We've got the hurricanes going on. We've got earthquakes. We've got flooding. There's a lot of stuff, and we're praying. And so part of that whole idea, like prayer treatment, when we're sending out prayer treatment, what Norm was really talking about with treat and move your feet is the idea that when you pray, there's also action that goes with your prayer. So when you say, I pray for safety and for help and for aid and for people to have, their needs met, part of that showing up is to also get up and participate in meeting those needs. Because clearly there's disaster across the planet right now. A lot of people are without homes and roofs over their heads and food to eat and clean water, and we can do something. And your something can be $5, $2, $1, a case of water, anything that you can do to help is part of the prayer, because prayer is action. Everything you do in your life, there's an energy that you put behind it. So you can pray fervently for something to happen and get into this like very feverish prayer about, please take care of those people, please take care of those people. And you can also do your part, because we're all together. It's not just them, it's us that's experiencing this. And we're all feeling this. And so we need to treat, pray, and move our feet and get up and participate in ways. There's no too small way, and nothing that you can give is too small. So you give from your heart, and I'm recommending and suggesting to everyone find a way to participate in helping the people across the planet, not just in Florida, not just in Texas, but there are people in Mexico and the Caribbean islands that are going through a tremendous tragedy. And a lot of those people have no escape. There's no 95 North for them to jump on and drive out. They are just stuck in that. So I want us to all just take a moment and hold just a space of quietness and stillness and just send loving energy and peace and protection. So we just know that right there where everyone is right now, including us, there God is. And we hold that space, and we hold a space of knowing that there is a divine order and divine outcome, perfect right outcome for everyone that's involved, everyone that's experiencing this, and everyone that's directly affected, and even those indirectly affected. We send love to them. And then we remind ourselves, we put a placeholder in our memory banks to go home and do something. Give something, send something, participate in some way, because it sends a different energy when we are actually acting. So thank you. So, my talk today, ta-da! How you like me now? And it was funny because this was not one of those days, this was not a week where I was struggling with the topic. I was actually standing here talking with Alex and another member of the center, and all of a sudden it just came roaring through my head, like, here's my topic. It came right out my mouth, and we were like, okay, good. And so all Alex had to remind me to do was write my blurb. Right? But, it's funny because the topic came, and then I thought about, well, what does that mean? What is ta-da, how you like me now? And so I had to sit with it, right? I had to sit with it to write the quote, to really find out, like, what is Spirit saying through and as me right now in my life. And the real deal is about the healing and the releasing of things that no longer serve, so that I can live the life that I was created to live, and really step into the truth of who and what we are. Really stand up in that. So some things came up for me as I was, doing this writing about the debris, and we have life experiences, and we sort of pick up debris along the way because, and some of the things that we learn, the lessons that we learn are good lessons. They keep us safe, right? They help us to do well. Like we learn things like, don't run out into traffic. That's a really big lesson that you should know, and hopefully you don't learn that lesson the wrong way by going out into traffic and getting, ran over. Hopefully you learn it by observation, right? And then there's some lessons that we learn in life because we go through them. For example, friendships. I've been watching my kids in these friendships and watching what they're learning and picking up along the way, right? And now they're in that pre-teeny stage. And so it's very interesting to watch them growing through their lives. And I realize that, we're all just growing through our lives, right? We're just growing from whatever stage you're at, whether you're 60, 50, 42, 22, it doesn't matter. You're growing through your life. And in every experience, we learn things. I was talking to a friend on the phone, and the conversation I had with her was mirrored by the things that were going on with my children. And she's in her 30s, and they're like preteens. They're 10 and 12. So it's like, wait a minute. We're still all learning these lessons, and we're carrying them with us. And what do we do with them? Do we just slap them around? Or are we using them usefully as guides in our lives and allowing ourselves to live still fully? Do we use them to build bricks around ourselves, and each experience is a brick, a brick, a brick until there's a wall between me and the rest of the world? Or am I actually having the experience, moving through it, learning from it, and healing? And this is a really important piece, and this is where the idea of, scars and scales fall over our eyes, because when we're born and we're little, just like Nico, we're bouncing around in joyfulness, right? And the world is this great place, and we're kind of like trotting through life, and we go to play, and we go to be with friends and learn things. And remember when you learn to actually read a full sentence, or when you learn to actually do a problem, how joy-filled you were that you got it right, But then other lessons come along the way, and then you get the math problem wrong. And you start to have a conversation with yourself based on how you felt, right? And then maybe a teacher says, maybe math isn't your thing. And you file that in your memory banks, and you start to be heavier around the idea of math. And then maybe someone might point out, boys are better at math than girls, and if you're a girl, there's another little thing that happens, and you start to get heavier energy, right? So the scale starts to build over the way your eyes and the way you look at math is now affected. There's a little bit of a darkness. There's a dinginess, right? And then on the playground, your friends, and everybody plays together when we're little, right? Everybody plays together. And then all of a sudden, they start getting older, and they start getting groups built around interests or things that they like. And maybe you're not as into that thing that they're into, so now you're not invited to play anymore with them. So now you feel something about friendships. And maybe the little boys will play with you because you're a little bit rougher than the little girls that are over there being dainty. And you start to build another thing around how you feel, right? And maybe you're a tall girl, and everybody makes fun of you because you're a tall girl, and you start to feel heavy about your appearance. And so you start to build all these bricks of, and they become like red bricks. I like to look at them like red bricks that, we put up around ourselves to protect ourselves. And then we get older, and we get in relationships, and he breaks my heart, or she breaks my heart, and I'm disillusioned, and I start to feel heavy about relationships, and I start to say, I will never do that again. I will never trust again. I was talking to a friend, and we were talking, and she said, I should have known better. And it's like, there's that debris, there's that tape that says you should know better. People aren't what? Trustworthy, right? That's what you should know. You should know you can't be engaged. You can't be friends with them. And so these walls are building, and these things are happening, and we're thinking we can't live in a world like Nico anymore. We can't bounce around and be joy-filled, and we can't experience life anymore fully because we've got a bag of stuff that we're schlepping around, so we're much heavier. We can't jump around because you got this big bag of crap you're carrying around. And then you've got these bricks that you have used to build up a wall between you and the world, and so you can't actually be out there bouncing and living fully and enjoying life and feeling things happen in your life the way they're happening. What you're now doing is looking at it through a filter, from a vantage point, from a place in life where you were hurt or wounded or damaged or disillusioned, right? And so now you can't see the beauty because all you can see is that thing. All you can see through is your experience. So I can't trust you because she hurt me, he hurt me, that one hurt me, so you must by, extension, must be one to hurt me. And so now we can't live, we can't love. And what are we doing to our lives when we do that? We're living from a place that is half alive. We're not experiencing the life that we came to live. We can't love fully, we can't experience love, and we can't allow ourselves to be loved because we're so busy keeping all those things in place and nurturing the pain and nurturing the hurt and nurturing the scars. And guess what I discovered about scars? If I am nurturing my scar, I can't see the rest of what's working. And I can't even see that the thing that has a scar on it is actually still working. All I see is the scar. So if I cut my hand and all I'm focused on is this scar, I forget that my hand works, my arm works, it's still there, it's still good. So yes, there's a scar on your heart, but guess what? Your heart is still beating. Yes, there is a scar. Yes, there was some problems with your credit, but guess what? You're still working, you're still making money, you still have an opportunity to pay your bills and live your life. Yes, there was hurt, but you're still alive. So why would you choose then to live from a place where you're living from hurt and you're living from brokenness and you're living from old experiences? You're missing the party. You're missing the party when you start to look back at the stuff. Because guess what? If you're doing this, you can't see where you're going. If you're walking like this, you have no idea where you're going. So you're missing all the stuff that's been laid out in front of you because God, Spirit, divine order, the universe always provides for you to be happy. Always provides for you to live fully. Always provides for you to live holy. Always provides abundance and opportunities for prosperity. It's always there. The question is, what are you looking at and where are you looking from? What is the position that you're standing? What is your vantage point when you're looking at the opportunities? Are you looking from a place of pain and hurt and doubt and worry and fear? Are you rehearsing for stuff that hasn't even happened yet? Because that's what worry is. When you're worrying about, I'm not going to have enough, I'm not going to do this, you're actually rehearsing for something that hasn't even happened yet. So you're practicing for failure instead of practicing for success. You're practicing for things to fall apart instead of practicing for things to fall together and come together in your life in such a very real and rich way that you can live a full experience of who and what you are. And so one of the things that I had to really come into for my own self is to stand into that reality of, am I allowing myself to really experience the life that I say I want? And it was like, wait, what? Because we have this desire to live this life, right? So the first part was, well, what do I say I want? So this week's, while I was running at 5:30 a.m., Spirit said, you have to be clear. You have to be clear about what you want. You have to be clear about what it is that you say you desire, and you have to be clear about what you're doing in your life. If not, you're going to live in murky waters. It's just that simple. It's going to be murky. It's going to be, cluttered. It's going to outpicture in your life as chaos, right? And it's going to outpicture in your life as, muddled. So you got to get clear about what it is that you desire. And then after you get clear about what you desire, the next thing that you have to do is you have to really examine, where am I living my life from? And is the place that I am living my life from reflection of what it is that I desire? So if I desire to be happy, am I living my life from happiness, or am I living my life from a place of worry, doubt, and fear and sadness? If I say that I want to be free, am I living my life from a place of freedom? If I want to be financially free, am I living my life from a place of financial freedom? Am I blessing my money? Am I giving thanks for the fact that my bills are paid, and really giving thanks, not lip service? Because, you know, a lot of us have been conditioned to lip service our conversations with the divine. We thank you, God. Oh, thank God for this. Oh, thank God for that. And that's all lip service, right? But are you really standing in the energy and vibration of gratitude? Are you taking a moment and giving thanks and really connecting within yourself and saying, wait a minute, look at my life. Look at my life. Look how cool my life is. I'm doing something that I enjoy. I'm doing something that I'm good at. I'm giving thanks. And you got to start to cultivate your energy of gratitude, because what you put your attention on is what's going to grow in your life. So once you start to give thanks for things, you start to give thanks for your life in a very real and meaningful way. When you start to do that, then you start to build the energy and vibration of gratitude. So then when you say, thank God, it's really got some oomph behind it. There's some real energy, and you're not just giving lip service to something that you heard someone say that you think you're supposed to say. You're not just giving lip service. You're actually articulating your gratitude in a way. And for me, first I had to learn how to write a gratitude list, to be honest. To be honest. I had to learn how to write a gratitude list. I used to have to write down what I was grateful for, because I was going through my life like 90 going north, right? Full speed ahead. Oh, thank God, I'm so grateful. I have this. Whew, thank you, thank you. And I wasn't really connecting with the vibration of gratitude. And so I had to start by like writing a gratitude list actually in my journal, by actually stopping now and taking time to just give thanks. What am I grateful for? Starting from that place, so I can always have my vantage point be coming from gratitude and thankfulness and thanksgiving and appreciation. And when I start to appreciate the things in my life, they start to appreciate. So I start to appreciate love. Love starts to appreciate, which means it's growing. You like that? Like that what I did there? So, you know, we just try to, when you put your energy into it, your appreciation, you give thanks, you bless your money, you give thanks that there's some there, that when you write the check, guess what? Ta-da! Money's going to be there on the other end for the person, right? That you're writing the check to. You give thanks for the fact that you have bills. Because you have bills, that means that you received a benefit. That means that you received some electricity in your house, so you got to watch your cable and set your DVR. That's why you have that $200 cable bill. Give thanks for it. You know what I mean? Give thanks for the fact that you have that cell phone bill. Guess what? Because you have it to text and call people and surf the internet and post on Facebook. That's a service that you receive. So when you start to bless the bill that comes along with it, you start to appreciate your blessings, and they start to grow. And so you start to release yourself. You start with gratitude and you release yourself from the debris. You got to let go of and let things fall away from you. Let the old story be released. The idea that this is happening to me because blah, blah, blah. It's not happening to you at all. It's just a part of your life journey. Nothing is happening to you because of. You're just having an experience in your life that has come forth to give you an opportunity to do what? Grow some more, to grow through it, to release it, to let it go. So you got to get into gratitude, right? You got to give thanks. You build your appreciation for the things around you. And then you start to honor your experiences as they are right now and release the whole story. There's this great country and western song. Oh, bless you. There's this great country and western song that's called You Gotta Love Like You've Never Been Hurt. Right? And I was listening to it, and I was like, that's the coolest thing I've heard. And then, of course, I wrote a post about it. But I was doing some writing around the idea of loving like you've never been hurt. which is one of those biggies, right? Because we grow up in a world where many of us have had conditional love. Conditional love. Mommy loves you when you're good. When you're bad, not so much. You know, your friends love you when you're dressed like them and hanging out with them and listening to the same music. But if you like a different genre, maybe not so much. And we kind of come through this world with this interpretation of what love, right, is. Always constantly seeking more love. Always constantly seeking more love, because that's what we do. So part of that process, right, of releasing things that don't serve us anymore, your old experiences, hear me when I say this, your old experience, your old hurt, your old loss does not serve your present life. Your old loss, your old hurt cannot help you be happy right now. It cannot feed your joy. It cannot feed you bliss. It is gone. It is over. Let it go. You got to release. You've got to do the work. And it sounds, you know, I'm saying it in like a 3-minute soundbite. But the real deal is you got to do the work. You got to go inside, because if you are living, and you can examine yourself at any moment, you can tell how you're engaging with someone. If you pay attention to your inner self, you can tell that you're engaging from your old experience. Because I'm just not going to let them see this part of me, because she didn't like when I acted like this, so obviously she's not going to like when I act like this. So I'm going to hide this part of me. I'm going to hide my goofy self. I'm going to hide my silly self. I'm going to hide my oh-so-serious self. And we live from that place, right? And we're not present in our relationship. And so whoever the person is falling in love with is not actually who you are, because you've hidden so much of yourself. But guess what? When you hide yourself in hurt and past experiences, it's going to pop out. It's going to come squeezing out somewhere through a crack or a crevice, and your real self will be revealed. So you might as well come to the party with all of you. You might as well come to the party with your whole self. And you might as well look at the hurt and say, thank you, and thank you for protecting me, defense mechanisms. Thank you for protecting me and walking with me right now through life in this way. And I no longer need you. I no longer need to be reserved. I no longer need to hold back. I no longer need to be afraid. Thank you, fear. Your purpose is not needed here. You are not necessary here. Because right now I'm going to live with my heart. I'm going to live my life with my heart wide open. I'm going to love from the deepest part of my soul. I'm going to play as if this is my last opportunity to play. I'm going to give all of what I have, and I'm going to trust that no matter how it turns out, that I am still going to be okay and in one piece. That I'm not going to shatter, that it's not going to fall apart. And we have to just remind ourselves that we have survived every bad day we ever had. We've survived every ugly experience we've ever experienced. We have survived every hurt. We are still here. So the point of your being here is that you still have lots of living to do. So you got to live from that place. You got to peel away all the stuff, and you got to break out of the prison that you've created for yourself. You got to get a sledgehammer and knock those bricks down and break out to the world. And this is where the ta-da, how you like me now comes from, because you're freeing yourself from your own bondage. Because nobody has you trapped but you. Nobody has you limited but you. It doesn't matter what they say about you. It doesn't matter what experience you had. It doesn't matter who did what to you or what they told you. It doesn't matter if you got divorced and the dream fell apart and you had to sell the house. It doesn't matter if you had to start over again from zero. It doesn't matter that you filed bankruptcy. It does not matter. The only time that it is an issue, the only time that it is a problem is when you allow it to trap you in your life. It's an experience for the journey. It's an experience for you to take. So you filed bankruptcy, so now you know that you got to manage your money a little bit differently. So your heart got broken. Now you know you got to bring your whole self to the party so that that person has permission to bring their whole self to the relationship, and you can have a whole relationship as opposed to everybody playing hide and seek. You got to know, you got to give yourself permission, you got to break out of your own prison, because you are the only one telling yourself you can't. You are the only one believing in your own press. You are the only one listening to the reels in your head and living your life from that place. Nobody is sitting in my head telling me what I'm capable of or can't do. I am the only one that sets my own limitations. I am the only one that defines my own possibilities. And so when you break out from that prison and you release yourself from that place, you give yourself permission to live. And so you step into the world with a lighter way of being, with a brighter way of being. And it takes work. It takes work. It's about the gratitude list. Whether you're writing it down or you're making a mental note, you have to bring yourself to gratitude and thankfulness. You've got to start there. And then when you start there, you start to build yourself up. You start to look at the things, the places that you're living from. And you start to release yourself from each individual hurt, from each individual wound, from each individual story that you have built up. And let me say this, it may not just be just your story. It might be your whole family's story. It might be generations of the story being told and you've just added your layer to it. But you can be free from that and release yourself from that story, from that belief system, from that idea of lack and limitation, from that idea that maybe you're not as smart as that person, or maybe you're not as good as this, or maybe it's my family's DNA to do this, or whatnot. You have to start to go back to each story that keeps you trapped and start to let it go. Each experience needs to be addressed. And there's some healing work that you do, so you go in with love. And maybe you talk to a practitioner, maybe you talk to the minister, maybe you have a really good friend that you can say things to that will mirror back to you love. Whatever it is, whatever place you can go with that, even if it's just sitting with yourself and writing about it, or praying about it, or meditating about it, you got to go in and heal those places, heal those stories, heal those limiting beliefs, and start to shift and create a new way of thinking, a new belief system. Really, it's the old belief system, the one you had when you were born into the world. It's the one you had. It's the one that Nico has right now, that everything is honky-dory, joyous, happy, and free, and we're here to play. We're just going to play in a grown-up way now. And so you got to release yourself, and you've got to do the inner work, the prayer, the meditation, the time in stillness, the real honest conversations with the divine within. Tell yourself the truth about how you're living. Really admit to yourself that I'm living in some lack right now. I'm acting like God isn't going to meet my needs. I'm acting like there's not food in my refrigerator. I'm acting like it's all going to fall apart. You got to get honest with yourself and have an honest dialogue, internal dialogue. And then you pray about it, and you sit in the stillness, and you hold the quiet, and you invite yourself to pay attention to the Spirit of God that is right there, right where you are. And you allow yourself to connect to the inner sanctuary of love, of ability, of kindness, of joy, of peace, of prosperity. You are here to thrive. And you get into that stillness, and you go into prayer, and you do the inner work. And you allow yourself to be set free from your self-imposed limitations and your self-imposed prison. And you break down the walls, and you jump out into the world with all of who you are. And you say, ta-da! How you like me now? Look out, world, because here I come. And you get ready to bring to the planet the thing that you came to do, because make no mistake, every single person here came into the world with a divine purpose. And if you're still here, there is more unleashing and releasing to happen. If you're still on the planet, there's still more to do. So come on, get busy, do what you need to do, let go of the foolishness, release yourself from all of that stuff, and step right into your purpose. And you do it step by step, little by little, lovingly, from your kindest, most loving, nurturing place. And you love yourself right back into who you really are. So you give thanks for all of that. You stand there in gratitude, and you live the life that you were created to live. Thank you. Peace and blessings.